want to bring into our coverage Democratic Senator Angela Alsobrooks of Maryland. Senator, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let me just ask you, how do you plan to vote on DHS funding?
Oh, there's no question about it. Absolutely not. There should not be another penny that goes toward this effort, which now we understand clearly what it is. Donald Trump's agenda around immigration is to kill Americans in our cities. And I vote no. We should not forward another penny to this agency. But let's level set. The Republicans in this body have already superfunded DHS at the tune of $75 billion. And so no matter what we do here, they've already been funded. But we are at a moral inflection point where we have to ask ourselves whether we will continue to fund the immorality that is before us. We are in a crisis in our country. We have both an affordability crisis and an accountability crisis. And this is an accountability crisis at its worst. And I absolutely will never vote to put another penny toward this agency, which is slaughtering Americans in the streets of America.
Democrats, I don't mean any of this line of questioning to hold Democrats responsible for funding DHS in the past, but DHS's mission has been clear since Trump was a candidate, when his supporters waved around mass deportation signs. Do you feel like a line has been crossed for Republicans? Do you hear from Republicans who won't vote for DHS funding?
Oh, I think it absolutely has been crossed. I think any person of any conscience who watched Renee Good be shot in the head in broad daylight, and any person who watched Alex Preddy be killed with 10 bullets, and his only crime was that he had a phone and he was trying to record these officers. Absolutely, a line has been crossed. I think my colleagues, you've begun to hear them already speak out and say that they want an investigation. We need some accountability here. I think everyone recognizes that what we see here is not only unsustainable, but it is a stain that I believe will really harm our country. Now what we know is this. For anyone who wants to understand why you can't afford health care anymore, just turn your television on and you'll see it. It is killing Americans instead. The funding that has been used has been funded for this effort, and we have done so really with young people who cannot have health care anymore by cutting Medicaid. We have cut nutritional programs, and for anyone who wants to understand where that money has gone, well, turn your television on and you can see it clear as day. That instead it is being used by these goons who are running around with masks on their faces, killing American citizens.
What will Democrats demand if you are sort of successful in bringing about a government shutdown over DHS funding?
Well, you know what? That question, I have to tell you, agitates me. It is not what Democrats should demand. The Republicans have empowered this. They have the keys to all of this. They have control of the Senate, they have control of the House, and they have the White House. So it's not what Democrats must demand. And this shutdown, by the way, would not be a Democratic shutdown, nor was the one before it. It's really intellectually dishonest to say that when Republicans control everything. So the question here is whether these Republicans feel that it's important enough to continue these ICE operations that are killing Americans, and whether that's important enough to shut down the government. That's the real question. And Democrats, what will we demand? We demand that our Republican colleagues grow a conscience, that they speak up and speak out, that if we're going to govern, let's do so in a way that helps the American people. Nothing about what we've seen. We have no peace at home. This is a president who's so proud that he wanted a Nobel Peace Prize, and we have no peace here in our own country. So we're demanding that Republicans speak up and that they do their jobs. And it is to hold this administration accountable to get rid of Pam Bondi. She should be fired forthwith, and that we should really do our jobs.
I love your agitation, and if I could clone you and spread it all over, I mean, I wish people were more agitated. I'm agitated having to cover the Republicans in the chamber, and so if we're going to be that frank, I mean, it's not growing a conscience, it's growing something else. And most people come up and say they fear for their lives if they vote against Donald Trump. I mean, let's talk about their poll numbers. They're underwater 14 points on immigration. I mean, do you see something bigger happening in the country, that they've lost their credibility on this issue, that they march in lockstep behind Donald Trump on, when he's not even viewed as someone that the majority of Americans, including Republicans, supports on the issue of immigration?
Well, I think Americans have really been clear now. The poll numbers tell the whole story. They understand the crisis of affordability and accountability. This administration lied when they said they would make our lives better, that groceries would go down, that the cost of health care would be affordable, that we could afford to buy homes. None of that has been true. The tariffs have wreaked havoc on our businesses. People could not afford the basic cost of goods. Groceries have not gone down. Utilities have gone up. And to add insult to injury, we now have Americans who are afraid to walk the streets, who have been dragged out of their homes nearly naked. We've watched that, unlike what they promised, that they would go after hardened criminals, the 2-year-old is a hardened criminal. What about the 5-year-old who was standing there in front of that camera? Is that person a hardened criminal? So this administration has lost its moral center. It's taking our country in a race to the bottom. And I think my colleagues on the other side, and I know many of them, they see this as wrong, and they need to speak up.
I appreciate your candor and your straight talk, and I hope you'll come back and continue the conversation. Senator Alsobrooks, thank you for joining us today.